Welcome to The Deep Dive. We're the podcast where we really plunge into fascinating topics, trying to pull out the insights that genuinely matter. And today, we're unlocking something pretty fundamental.
Yeah.
You know, what separates those breakthrough ideas from just fleeting thoughts? Or maybe a game-changing product from some invention that just gathers dust?
Yeah, it's not magic, right? It often comes down to a real deep understanding of creativity and innovation.
Exactly. And that's our mission today for you listening. We've got this comprehensive source material that really unpacks these concepts.
And we're aiming to cut through all the noise, give you a bit of a shortcut, really, to understand what creativity and innovation actually mean, how they're different, what makes creative people tick, the actual steps to bring ideas to life, and, all the different ways innovation shows up out there in the world.
So yeah, get ready for hopefully some aha moments, maybe some surprising facts that might make you look at things a little differently. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so starting with creativity itself, our source calls this section the spark within.
Yeah.
And it makes this really powerful point right from the start.
Yeah.
Creativity isn't some rare thing.
Right. It says it exists within everyone. Like it's a basic human capacity, something we're all sort of meant to develop.
Which is interesting because the source then immediately links it to being a core skill for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. It's not just a nice extra. It apparently enhances things like problem analysis, keeping an open mind, stuff that's absolutely vital if you're trying to build something or navigate business.
So it's not an exclusive club then.
Yeah.
But if it's everywhere, how do we actually pin it down, define it? Linguistically, the source points to the Arabic word ibda.
Yeah, ikso. And it means basically to invent something without a previous example. So being the absolute first, the originator.
Okay, the originator. And conceptually?
Right. Conceptually, it's defined as a mental intellectual process that leads to producing new and unique solutions, ideas, or practical and theoretical methods. So it's about making something genuinely novel, something that hasn't quite been done before.
And the result of that process, the creative product, it can be tangible, right? Like industrial goods, tech invention.
Exactly. Physical things, but, and this is important, it can also be completely intangible.
Oh, okay. Where?
Like literary works, art, new ways of doing things, developing a unique skill, new ideas generally, or even creating distinctive services. It's definitely not just about stuff you can hold.
Okay, that makes sense. The material then lays out 6 key characteristics of creativity. I think these are pretty useful if you're trying to, foster it.
Yeah.
First, ideas often start small, really small, and then they mature through stages.
Yeah, they rarely just pop out fully formed. It's a process.
And this connects to something a lot of people wonder about. Is creativity just for geniuses?
Right, and the source is really clear on this. It says creativity is not exclusive to the highly intelligent. Intelligence can help, sure, but it's not a requirement.
That kind of debunks a big myth, doesn't it?
Totally, which leads straight to the next point. Creativity exists in everyone, just, in different amounts, different degrees. It's not black and white.
That's really empowering, actually.
And crucially, it's not inherited. You're not just born with a fixed level of it. It's presented as a skill you can develop through training, trying things out, being in the right environment.
So anyone can work on it. That's huge.
Definitely. Then there's a sort of ethical or societal angle.
Ah, right.
For an idea to be truly creative in this context, it needs to serve society and the future, and it shouldn't go against the public interest.
That's a pretty important filter, I'd say. Grounds it a bit.
It does. And finally, this source stresses it's not just about tech. Creativity can pop up anywhere, art, business, science, you name it.
Okay, so it's broad, developable, and not tied to just IQ. Let's dig into the people then, the DNA of a creator. What are the specific traits? And again, the good news is these can be developed.
Exactly. Stimulated, nurtured. The source focuses on 5 core traits. First one is fluency. In Arabic, at-talaka.
Fluency. Okay, like language fluency.
Sort of, but for ideas. It's the ability to generate a lot of ideas quickly in a limited time using different approaches.
Ah, okay, so sheer quantity, like brainstorming on steroids.
Pretty much. The source even breaks it down further. Idea fluency is just lots of ideas. Expressive fluency is forming lots of meaningful sentences. Associative fluency is coming up with lots of synonyms or antonyms, that kind of thing.
Got it, and they suggest activities.
Yeah, practical stuff, like list all the synonyms you can for happy, or write as many words starting with C, K, or Q as you can in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Or think about a simple object, like a teacup. What are all the possible uses you can imagine? It's about opening the mental floodgates.
Okay, that teacup example leads nicely into the second trait, flexibility, almaruna.
Right. This isn't just about more ideas, but different kinds of ideas. It's the ability to think of multiple alternatives, adapt quickly, shift your perspective, the opposite of being rigid.
So with the teacup, fluency is listing 50 ways to drink from it, maybe.
Yeah, or 50 things that could be drunk from it. Flexibility, though, is thinking, okay, I can drink from it, or I could use it as a small vase, or a pot for a tiny plant, or a pencil holder.
Ah, changing the category of use, seeing totally different functions.
Exactly. Or like the source asks, what are different uses for a pencil besides writing? Or how many ways can you divide a rectangle into 4 equal parts? It forces you out of the usual mental ruts.
Okay, makes sense. Third trait.
Problem sensitivity. Ahassasiya lil mushkilat. This is about having a sharp eye for spotting problems in the first place. Seeing things others miss, thinking deeply about situations from multiple angles.
This feels really important for innovation, doesn't it? Seeing the unmet need or the hidden issue.
Definitely. And the source suggests the technique. Try looking at a situation from different viewpoints. How does a child see this? A parent, the person selling it, the person buying it. Their different needs might spark new ideas.
That's a great practical tip. Okay, number 4.
Originality. Ala sala. Now, this is about the quality and uniqueness of the ideas, not just the quantity like fluency. It's producing ideas that are genuinely novel, distinct, not just copies or slight tweaks of existing things, avoiding the standard solutions.
So, truly breaking new ground.
Yes, it's about genuine newness. The source suggests exercises like imagine life at home 100 years from now, or design your absolute dream home, no limits. It pushes you to create something that doesn't exist yet.
Pushing boundaries. Okay, and the last one.
Persistence. Muwasilata atija. This is basically grit. The ability to stay focused on your area of interest for a long time, even when there are distractions or setbacks. Sticking with it.
That makes total sense. Ideas are one thing, seeing them through is another. And, looping back to what we said earlier, the source really hammers this home at the end of this section. There's no confirmed scientific link between high IQ and creativity.
Right. A super smart person might not be very creative, and someone with average intelligence could be incredibly innovative.
It really drives home that idea that creativity is accessible. It's more about cultivating these traits, these ways of thinking and working.
Precisely. It frames it much more as a skill set, something you can actively develop, which is, I think, very encouraging.
Okay, so we have these traits. How does an idea actually happen? Go from spark to reality. The source outlines the journey of an idea, the stages of the creative process. It starts apparently with some kind of internal need or desire.
Yeah, a feeling, a drive, which then interacts with the world around you, the environment.
And if that environment is right, you get innovation. The source maps out 5 main steps here. First is preparation. Ali Dad.
This is all about getting your mind ready, stimulating it for creative thought.
And it sounds quite active.
Yeah.
Like training and creative thinking basics, problem-solving methods, reading a lot, writing, discussions, workshops.
Exactly. It's like building the mental infrastructure, prepping the soil so ideas can actually grow.
Okay, so you prepare, then what?
Stage 2 is investigation. At Tahari. This is where you really dig into the specific problem or opportunity.
The deep dive within the deep dive.
Yeah. You gather all the data, analyze information, take detailed notes, talk to people, collect evidence. Basically, understand every facet of the issue before jumping to solutions.
Well, then comes transformation. At Tawil.
Right. Now, you take all that info you gathered and start playing with it. Look for patterns, similarities, differences. Step back, see the bigger picture, don't get bogged down in tiny details.
So reorganizing, looking for new directions.
Exactly. And critically, trying to let go of preconceived ideas. The source also mentions something interesting here. The subconscious keeps working.
Like shower thoughts.
Kind of. It emphasizes needing relaxation, downtime. Your brain is still processing, connecting dots in the background, even when you're not actively focused. That quiet hum, like you said.
Fascinating. Okay, so after transforming, you get to testing. Al-itibar.
This is where the idea starts to become clear, solid. It's ready to be shaped into its final form, but first, you test it.
Oh.
Experiments, market testing, building prototypes, simulations. You need to check if it's actually useful, feasible. Because as the source stresses, ideas have to be both new and implementable.
Right, not just pie in the sky. Can you validate it yourself, or do you need others?
Both, actually. The source mentions internal validation just in your own mind, does it feel right? And external validation, like getting opinions from experts. It's about making sure it's practical.
Okay, makes sense. And the final step.
The crucial one, application. At Tatbeek, turning the idea into a real thing, a tangible reality.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. And the source says this is what separates an entrepreneur from just an inventor. The idea has to be applicable, and you need a solid plan to actually implement it in the real world. An idea without application. It's just a thought, really.
That's a perfect transition, actually, because people often mix up invention and innovation. They sound similar, but the source draws a clear line.
They do. Our lives are shaped by both, obviously, driven by human thought, but they are distinct concepts.
So let's define them based on the source. Invention, aliktira. What is it?
It's defined as a new idea for an existing problem that is industrially producible. Or, maybe simpler, to create something new that no one has done before you.
Okay, something totally new, like Edison and the light bulb.
Exactly. Or the source mentions historical Islamic inventions like the astrolabe, early concepts of unmanned flight, more modern examples, the first camera, the first air thermometer, plasma screens, the very first smartphone concept, creating something out of essentially nothing that existed in that form before.
Got it. So then innovation, al-ibtikar, how is that different?
Innovation is defined as the process of transforming an idea, method, or invention into a product or service that creates value for the customer.
Creates value.
Yes. Or developing an existing idea, work, design, or method in a way that's better, easier, or more useful.
Okay, so the core difference is?
Invention is the creation of the brand new thing. Innovation is the application of that thing, often the commercial application, or finding new, better ways to use it, making it accessible and genuinely useful to people.
So not all inventions become innovations immediately.
Right. Many inventions need refinement, development, a business model, marketing that whole process to become successful innovations that actually change things for people.
That clarification is really helpful. The source uses examples like the iPhone, solar-powered lights, electric cars.
Perfect examples of innovation. None of them invented the core concept phone, light, car, but they took those existing inventions and radically improved them, developed them into something vastly more useful, accessible, desirable. They transformed the existing invention into a market-changing innovation.
Making it valuable to millions. Okay, so innovation is this engine for progress for the economy, rooted in social support and intellectual freedom, the source says.
Yes. And it can be tangible new stuff or intangible new ways of doing things. The source breaks innovation down into 5 main types.
Okay, let's run through them. First type.
Product innovation, probably the most common one people think of. Developing new or significantly improved products or services that directly hit the market.
Like the examples you mentioned before, rockets, satellites, PCs, airbags.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the source uses the evolution of the mobile phone as a great case study. It wasn't just about making them smaller or cheaper. Their entire purpose changed.
Right, from just calls to everything. Camera, music player, navigator, watch.
A massive product innovation journey.
Okay, what's next?
Service innovation. This is about changing how customers are served to create new value, boost demand, generate revenue.
Like delivery apps. Mr. Sewell, Hunger Station, those kinds of things.
Precisely. Or e-banking, sophisticated travel apps like Absher or Booking, ride-hailing like Uber and Careem, information services like Google Maps.
The source highlights Airbnb here, right?
Yes. A prime example. They didn't build hotels. They created a service that let ordinary people become hosts, completely shaking up the hospitality industry and changing how people travel and find places to stay. It was a service model innovation.
Okay, third type.
Process innovation. This is about implementing new or significantly improved ways of making things or delivering services. It involves facilities, skills, technology, all aimed at being more efficient, using fewer resources, or improving the final product quality.
So behind-the-scenes stuff, like software for designing products, new manufacturing techniques.
Exactly. Or logistics, software barcodes, tracking systems, efficient shipping programs.
The source had a good example. Supermarkets.
Ah, yes, the automated reordering systems. Instead of someone walking around checking shelves and manually ordering, the system tracks sales, knows stock levels, and automatically orders more. It's a huge change in the process, reducing waste and errors.
Makes sense. Number 4.
Business model innovation. This is a big one. Fundamentally changing how a company operates to create value, often opening up totally new ways to make money. And the source warns, if you don't innovate your business model, someone else might come along and disrupt you completely.
That sounds familiar. Netflix.
The classic example the source uses. Started renting DVDs by mail, then, boom, leveraged digital tech, flipped to subscription streaming, changed their entire business model, and basically took over home entertainment. They didn't just tweak the product, they reinvented how the whole business functioned.
A total transformation.
Yeah.
Okay, and the fifth type.
Social innovation. This focuses on developing new solutions, could be concepts, processes, products, even organizations specifically to tackle social problems. The aim is improving well-being for individuals and communities, enhancing sustainability.
But it still needs to be viable, right? Economically.
Absolutely. For it to be sustainable and have lasting impact, it generally needs to be economically sound. The source gives a really powerful example here. Grameen Bank.
Muhammad Yunus. Microloans.
Exactly. Started in Bangladesh in 1979, giving tiny loans to the poor who had no collateral. It proved that you could create a system that was both incredibly impactful, socially and financially self-sustaining. It grew massively, won Yunus the Nobel Peace Prize. A perfect example of innovation aimed at social good.
Wow. That really shows the breadth of what innovation can mean. It's not just tech gadgets.
Not at all.
Speaking of inspiring stories, the source includes the Ben & Jerry's story. A great example of creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship all rolled into one.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, childhood friends, born just days apart.
And they loved ice cream. Ben even drove an ice cream truck in high school. But they didn't start there professionally. Ben did pottery, Jerry was a lab tech.
Right, tried different things. But eventually they reconnected, were sharing an apartment, and decided, let's start a business.
But it wasn't ice cream first, was it?
No, they actually thought about making bagels, but the equipment was way too expensive.
So that obstacle actually pushed them
towards ice cream, their childhood love. And the key moment, according to the source, was taking a $5 correspondence course on how to make ice cream.
$5? That's amazing.
That little investment led to them opening their first shop in Burlington, Vermont in 1978.
And it took off pretty fast, didn't it? They targeted young people, universities, did those free ice cream cone days.
The brilliant marketing, yeah. Built a huge following. By 1987, sales hit $32 million. They even got recognized by President Reagan in '88 as the U.S. Small Business Persons of the Year.
Incredible for an ice cream shop started on a $5 course.
Totally. But as they got bigger, they realized they needed more experienced management. So they strategically stepped back from day-to-day operations.
Which allowed it to grow even more.
Yeah, sales hit over $200 million by the mid-90s. And then in 1999, the big corporation Unilever bought them out.
For a lot of money.
$326 million. Unilever took over management, but the brand, Ben & Jerry's, kept the founders' names, a real testament to what they built.
That's a fantastic story. So let's try and pull this all together for everyone listening. We've gone through definitions, traits, processes, the different types of creativity and innovation.
Right. Seen how these ideas fuel progress from, local ice cream shops to global changes.
So the big question is, what does this mean for you? How do you take these concepts and apply them?
And the source offers this really powerful final thought and insight. Believe in yourself, and others will believe in you.
That sounds simple, but...
It's profound in this context. Starting something new, being an entrepreneur, innovating, it's inherently risky. There's doubt, there are obstacles. But that core self-belief, believing in your idea and your ability to make it happen, that seems to be the foundation.
Believing you can turn that idea into a real solution, a real product.
Exactly.
So maybe the final question for you listening is this. Given everything we've talked about today, that creativity is in everyone, that it can be developed, the steps involved, what's one small step you could take?
Yeah, to cultivate your own creativity, your own innovative spirit.
And how might really truly believing in yourself unlock possibilities that maybe you haven't even let yourself consider yet? Something to think about.